You can unlock the power of cinematic excellence with just one word in your Midjourney prompt. I'm not gonna waste any time. That word is Unsplash. Unsplash is actually a stock photography website where each photo has a similar vibe, that being cinematic. And of course, Midjourney is somehow able to recreate this every time. I'll go through and show you a bunch of different examples. And look how easy it is to do. Life down by the pier, that's all you need, the one word, and you get this beautiful cinematography. It's not just the subject, it's the lighting, it's the camera angles, and it's the placement inside the real world that Unsplash brings into your Midjourney prompt. So captivating. A raw fight scene between two biker gangs. Unsplash. Look at how the light hits off of his jacket. Love the depth of field. Love the subject matter. Unsplash can give this all to you. And you know what might be fun? Let's take a look at this prompt without the word Unsplash. There you go. Do you see the difference? I mean, it's quite stark. Midjourney by default, I think, will lean to the painterly side of things, where you get a more abstract picture. Not abstract in terms of design or subject matter, but abstract in terms of visual lens, where these are clearly biker gangs in a fight, but it's not photorealistic. And normally, if you wanted something photorealistic or cinematic, you would have to include a very long prompt, but not now. All you need is Unsplash. I mean, there it is again. Just look at the difference. It's amazing. Can you see my goosebumps? Look how good this is. A woman in a red raincoat, Unsplash. Oh my god, I just got a wave of goosebumps again. Sort of the theme. Number 3, number 2. Number 2 is probably my favorite, but that's not really saying anything. Look how good these are. Number 4 is incredible. And I think once you see these generations and once you know what Unsplash can do, your brain is going to start thinking of prompts in a different way, knowing that you're just one word away from these beautiful cinematic shots. I think your wordplay and vocabulary experimentation might just reach a whole nother level. A whole nother level. And I can't wait to see what you create with it. I've got to say though, one thing to point out. Unsplash doesn't have that much of an effect on poetry. And what I mean by that is, if you gave the prompt, The Last Day on Earth, I'm not sure Midjourney, at least in version 4, handles poetry as best as it could. It sort of sits in the realm of like movie poster / like billboard, where version 3 would turn it into this beautiful interpretation, most likely a painting. However, I still believe that Unsplash will bring a familiar color palette to your generations. Like, look at these, a lion in the jungle. And it certainly is. Again, you can get these from using different prompts, but one word, Unsplash, will get you there instantly. How about outside the International Space Station? It works so well when your prompt is going to include a certain amount of colors, like the oranges of sunlight, the blues of the earth, and even the darkness of space. That just plays into Unsplash so well. Here's a portrait of a lion without mentioning the jungle. Again, photorealistic, beautiful stuff. Now, the more your prompt strays from reality, the harder it is for Unsplash to bring it back. But I still think it does a pretty good job. A robotic beetle, Unsplash. I think the first thing you'll notice is the lighting and the colors. You got your oranges, your blues. Now that's pretty similar to what Midjourney will like to do in version 4. However, Unsplash brings the focal length into play and the background. It's just, I can't recommend it enough. But let's see what else there is. Here's how it handles people, and in an unconventional sense. A futuristic cyberpunk robot Instagram model. If you want beautiful people, I highly suggest using Instagram model in your prompt. And then Unsplash will take care of the rest, like the blurry background, the framing, and again, the colors. You'll see them every time. You see these? These are so beautiful. If you saw these on a tourist website, would you even question whether they were real or not? A rainy day in the Mediterranean. Unsplash. Splash some amazement over my face. I think number 3 is my favorite. I don't know which picture I'm gonna choose for the thumbnail, but number 3 is definitely probably high on the list. Ooh, maybe number 4? I don't know. It's just, it's so good. Are you seeing these, man? The retro futuristic sports car. Hey, I'll recommend that prompt as it is. Look what Unsplash does to it. Check out the perfectly in frame, the cool background, and then what's really interesting, and you'll see this in number 4, this blurry foreground. The way Unsplash affects the focal length is easily my favorite part of it. And you'll see I upscaled all of them, like how could you not? These are unreal. And the symmetry in the reflection here, that's just top-notch stuff. Well, I showed you what it looks like in a wide angle in the 16:9, but let's take a look at the vertical composition. How does Unsplash do? Spoiler alert, pretty great. Here's the futuristic cyberpunk robot Instagram model. And I think these are amazing. Those look like real people. Granted, I know they're not, but if you told me these were cosplayers, how could you not believe it? A superhero flying above the city. Just look at the lighting. Maybe in number 2, but also in number 4, how it's a little brighter around the subject and then fades off away from it. As well in number 2, we've got the bright lights of the streets. There's your orange. Then we have the dark blue of the buildings and then the darker gray of the sky. 10 out of 10. Here's a good example of the poetry that I'm not sure just works well in version 4 as it is. The time it takes to stay still. I didn't know what Midjourney would make, but I could always count on it to make something pretty thought-provoking. And you can see that it added some text into the picture. I think that's a clear sign of when Midjourney doesn't know what to do and it kind of makes a poster. Not necessarily a movie poster, but something similar to a billboard or just like an advertisement. But again, look at the time of day it shows. Look at the low lighting of number 2 and number 4. And then again, look at the orange and the blues. Incredible. This prompt didn't turn out as well as I wanted. Well, it certainly didn't make what I was thinking. But nonetheless, you can see what Unsplash brings to it, this cinematic look. Perfectly in frame, great contrast of color. Unsplash might be able to save any prompt in this sense. Here's a retro-futuristic phone booth, and if you haven't caught on, use retro-futuristic in some of your prompts. It's the perfect dichotomy of the old and the new. And then what do you notice? Ding, ding, ding. The blues and the oranges. Again, a bit of a Midjourney V4 thing, but also an Unsplash thing. A fire hydrant made of ice. So beautiful, so realistic. Look at the sunlight shining over the mountains here. That is just ridiculous. Oh, God, I can't get enough. And I just can't get enough. Low angle shot of a dog on a leash, Unsplash. The vibe sets it in reality. Perfect times of day. And what I love is that each dog has like 2 leashes attached to it. You know, Midjourney still makes some mistakes, and when it does, they're often hilarious. Oh, look how cute these are. The burrow of a field mouse. Unsplash. I actually love all of them. Number 4, I do like a lot, but I upscaled number 2. And look at the blurry foreground in it. Like you cannot get that depth of field easily in Midjourney. Went for the house hippo, and I thought it might know what I was talking about. I think it's the North American house hippo, which is like just a little hippo that lives in your cupboard. But it came up with these, and I can't really complain. Again, I think the contrast of the colors, the saturation, it's amazing. And this is an example of how I think Unsplash may change how you think about your prompts. I wouldn't normally have thought of a nuclear explosion in the distance, but knowing what Unsplash can do to a photo, I thought, oh, I would love to see that. And sure enough, you got your blues, the sunsets, the orange. Unsplash did exactly what I thought it was going to do. And it knocked it out of the park. Oh, these are pretty nasty. Portrait of a Tron motorcycle. Oh, gosh. The depth, the texture. I think these are all gorgeous. I should probably upscale the rest of them. I don't know why I chose just number 3. We'll go number 1 and we'll go number 2. You know what? I like number 4 as well. Well, there you have it. That's what you can get from just one word. Let me know if there are any other styles in Midjourney that you're curious about and how you could get them yourself. I'd love to show you what I know. Leave a like on this video if you found it interesting. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. I hope you're doing well. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace.